What is up? We are live from Matt.
We are live from TCA 2024.
Hey, welcome to the Driving Forward podcast. Welcome to the Driving Forward podcast. It's August 8th.
It's September 4th.
Happy Halloween. It's October 31st. It's Thursday, November 7th.
Thank you for tuning in to the Driving Forward podcast.
So it's September 18th. We've got everybody on. They're going to hear all this stuff. We're going to hear all this. It's episode 100 of the Driving Forward podcast. And I'm going to skip the rest of that because I say it every week and there's no reason to. So, but here we all are. So I wasn't expecting that beginning part. I think I might have heard that it was there, but that was kind of a great intro. I appreciate that. So, all right. So
I somehow got handsomer and handsomer in every shot.
What's that?
I somehow got prettier and prettier in every shot.
Yeah, absolutely. So prettier and prettier. So, well, it's how things evolve, right? So as we'll see my, I think we'll see a clip here in a minute on how my first episode went compared to how things go now. And they kind of, that's how it looks. So absolutely. So I'm going to just skip ahead a little bit and, I'll just say next week we've got Alex Mayan, then we have Melanie Patterson. So, let's talk about Alex real quick. So Alex, we're going to talk about all things industry. There's a ton of stuff going on in the industry right now. Alex has a lot to say about it, as y'all know. I actually get to spend this weekend with Alex, so he's going to be in town. So Alex and Jenna are going to be hanging out. Then on Thursday, he's going to circle back around. We're going to chat about whatever we have to chat about. So looking forward to talking to the Mother Trucker News. Following that, we're going to chat with Melanie Patterson about GovCon and everything government related. So looking forward to that. Coming up this weekend, GLCS is at McLeod, so along with Don. So we're going to be tromping around Denver, Colorado. So we'll be there with Pete Matta and Bain. So looking forward to that. We're having a freight movement event Sunday night. That'll be from 8 to 11 p.m. So we have some golf simulators. I think we've honed in. If you can golf, we're going to see if you can outdrive the strongest man in logistics, which if you know how to swing a club, you can outdrive the strongest man in logistics. But come on down.
Ooh, this man. Ooh.
But I think we'll bring down a Rocco Merari and see if I can get Todd Waldron to participate. And, that'll give us both spectrums, a guy who sort of knows how to swing and a guy who does know how to swing, and we'll see what kind of longest drive we can get there. So the freight movement event looks great. What else we got lined up for GLCS here in the near future? All right, following that ATA management conference. So that'll be a few of us there. Broker Carrier Summit. Immediately following that, I get to fly from California to Orlando, which I think a few of us on this podcast today are going to be at BCS Orlando. Looking forward to BCS as always. So, and then Trimble Insights. So that's actually capping off my year, I think. So a few less conferences this year, but I think a few of us are experiencing that. So just kind of wrapping things up. So moving on to our show, and I appreciate everybody today coming on. We're going to have potentially a few other people rolling in as well. But, I started this show to fix one thing. And that was actually my voice. I wanted to get started. I wanted to get better at speaking and better at telling the truth out loud. Somewhere between episode 1 and today, it became a lot bigger than just that. So it became a voice for trucking, a voice for businesses, that keep this country moving and moving when nobody else is watching. So drivers, dispatchers, founders, tech teams, it kind of gave us purpose. And we learned together, we laughed together, and we turned kind of the play-by-play honesty that you kind of only hear in certain mediums into this platform. So for episode 100, we're not just celebrating the podcast, but we're celebrating the platform that is built by everyone associated with it, everyone who's been on this program, and all the people who answer the phone when it's inconvenient to still find a way to deliver. So thanks to everyone who's pushing us to grow. Thanks for trusting this space with your truth and letting this show speak for you. So here's to another 100 episodes for letting it grow, letting it get bigger, and become more of a footprint on the industry. So I appreciate everyone who's supporting it to do so. So with that being said, let's do a round of introductions. And there's a few people who have been on a lot, and there's a few people who have been on a little, and there's a few people who are on in the beginning. So let's start out with on the upper left. We've got Mrs. Malafarina.
Are you reading my name like I do, Nathan? I'm like, oh, hi, Nathan. I'm just like reading your name.
You're gonna do that, aren't you?
Congratulations on your 100th episode. That's a big feat. I started my journey in podcasting on your podcast. It freaked me out for a long time, and then I wet my toes in that and came on with you guys a couple times. I think my first 5 times on a podcast was your podcast. And then I started my own. So thanks for inspiring me to do so and letting me learn while you built yours up. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So I will call out Sheree Moore. So she was, one of the people that helped us get going in the beginning. So she put us 6 months ahead, if not more than that in the beginning. And especially from a tech standpoint and got things going. So she was a big help starting out. So appreciate that, Sheree. Thanks for tuning in. So Hillary, why don't we have you do an introduction? This is your first time on the show, but we wanted to bring you on the show because we have a few cool things coming up here. And actually, well, I suppose we'll see we'll see this person here in a little bit, I think. So Danielle, I think, is coming on.
Why aren't you on here, Danielle?
He's gonna be. Yeah, I think she's.
Yes, she's in the Teams meeting.
Yeah. So
doing work.
I killed most of the Teams meeting. So Hillary, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, Nate, I love that you started this because you didn't want to go to Toastmasters. No judgment. It's fantastic.
Fair enough.
I'm Hillary Drake. My company is Liminal Network, and I am a reformed shipper, recovering shipper, maybe. So now I'm on the dark side of freight tech, and I'm here today to talk about in-person meetups and why they matter and what we're going to be doing here in the Twin Cities.
And absolutely, I'm looking forward to that. And you've partnered with the freight movement team and are doing a Minneapolis meetup, a freight movement meetup, kind of extending that network here in Minneapolis every month. I think we have a little banner, and if we can kick out the invite in comments as well. But you want to talk about that a little bit?
As I left my corporate job, I started going to a lot of meetups for manufacturing, for medical device, for software, and there wasn't anything out there for logistics in the Twin Cities. And we should be doing this. We should have a place to just get together and chat. The freight movement events I went to were awesome. I saw people I hadn't seen in 10 years at your happy hours. And I wanted to extend it to, let's just do this every month. So October 9th is our first get together. We are going to be at Forgotten Star Brewing in Fridley. There's no cost to attend. Buy your own beer, and they also have NA options, and just chat with folks. Maybe you'll see some old friends. Maybe you'll meet new friends. We already have the venue booked for November, and our plan is to keep going on the second Thursday. And we've already got folks signing up. So yeah, links in the chat, and love to see people, and just whether that's to commiserate or just have fun.
Awesome. I'm excited about that, and the fact that we met at, I think, the first freight movement. I don't even think we called it necessarily freight movement back then. It was a little gathering, a Minnesota get together or whatever we called it. But I think that's where we first met before we officially made it freight movement. So I appreciate that. So Don, I moved you up there in case you have to slide out. So I know with all this crazy stuff you got going, I'm gonna actually pop a thing. Truck Stop says, "Hey friends, happy National Truck Driver Appreciation Week," which is absolutely true. I was going to come in. They beat us to it, but it is the National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. So, and we also have a congrats on 100 episodes. Appreciate it, Truck Stop. So Don, it's so good to see you. I can't remember when I last saw you. It's been a minute. So when was it?
BCS.
No,
yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while,
Cleo.
probably since
Cleo.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. Cleo Connect.
yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Well,
So thanks for having me again. Congratulations on 100 episodes. I think I was on one of the early ones because it was right after, what was it? Right after BCS? No, right after Manifest was when I first
Yes.
came on
Yep.
one of your episodes. And that was 2 years ago, I think, right? Or something.
something like that. And we still haven't done a one-on-one, so we
I
probably
know.
should do that sometime. So
We
it seems
will.
like every time I think of it, you always have something going on. So
Oh, well, such
and
is life. Such is life.
I have a technical issue, so I'm gonna have you talk for a second. My battery on my computer is going south very fast, so I have to go fix that. But
All right.
Bain, you want to take over for a second?
Bain, you want to take over?
Or
I am just waiting for Nate to leave so I can actually have some.
no, go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead. I was making sure.
Okay, wonderful. So Don, as always, wonderful to have you. We love having you. So like I said in my intro too, I am Robert Bain. I'm with GLCS, and I am the strongest man in logistics. Also, a huge up to all the truckers out there. We appreciate you all so much, and thanks for everybody for being on because this is super fun. A man who needs no introduction, but I will do my best to. Second best facial hair in all of transportation logistics. My man, the bodacious Jeff Dickinson.
What's happening, guys? Hey, thanks for having me on. Congratulations on the 100th episode. I think I was one of the first ones that came on, maybe the third or fourth one, when Nate put this all together. And yes, he has grown. He has grown in very positive ways over the last 100 shows. So great job. I can't wait to see what else you guys bring to the table.
So I think we have, and maybe I'm wrong. Nope. We still got it. Oh, this is a different background. But hey, check.
Now Nate's just playing around.
This is a 1 minute clip here, but we're gonna play it. If it plays, I don't know. It doesn't seem to want to play.
And there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for the unstoppable force, the unmatched titan of the logistics ring, Jeff, the bodacious cowboy Dickinson, hailing from the bustling streets of Sparta, New Jersey. This transportation and logistics leader is stepping into the spotlight with a track record as solid as steel itself. With over 3 decades of dominating the logistics landscape, Jeff rides into the arena, ready to share the wisdom of the road, the secrets of supply chain success, and lessons learned from a life lived in the fast lane. Get ready to be captivated by the tales of the bodacious cowboy, a true champion of logistics world whose stories of triumph and transformation are boundless as the open road. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Amazing.
That's the best introduction of anybody ever.
So I've done a few of those. So.
That's awesome, man. That was a good time, man. That was a good time.
Wow. I'm not sure who.
Had a little
We
bit
got a
more
little bit
facial hair though back then. Than I do right now. Yeah.
So I think we also have one of those from Bain.
Oh
so
boy.
I can try playing that here too. Let me click on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for the grand entrance of a giant of the logistics domain, Robert, the strongest man in logistics, Bain. With a work history as illustrious as his physical feats, he has traversed the peaks and valleys of the supply chain landscape, emerging victorious time and time again. With a beard as mighty as his deeds, he commands respect in every arena he enters. With a heart and as mighty as his muscles, he extends his mighty hand in friendship and guidance, inspiring all who cross his path. So let the trumpet sound and drums beat for the arena of logistics. There stands a colossus among men, Bain, the strongest man in logistics, a true force to be reckoned with. How's it going, buddy?
Nate, I want you to read my eulogy.
WWE walking.
No, I have figured it out now. This is why everyone, since I started working at GLCS, everyone that meets me for the first time goes, "Man, I thought you'd be taller." That explains why.
Yeah, we seem to have a Dawn issue with her mic or something. So yeah, so that was those are both 2 years ago. Those were right close to each other, both FN and Baines. So so John comments that Jeff has the second best facial hair.
Yeah,
So,
look at mine, John. Of course.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's right, John, man. Stick up. Defend me, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Defending us
And
wrong. Look at this long, thick
Danielle
people.
says that I might have to do one for Spinelli. I don't know, that she's been around long
She's
enough.
got her own
that
t-shirt.
might
You
have-
got a t-shirt.
It's gonna have that Superman.
Yeah, that's
thing.
true. She got a whole brand out of it.
Oh, say it.
Fraud girl.
That's true. Yeah, she got the fraud girl thing out of it. So that was a thing. So
Yeah,
The,
Nate, why don't you have a nickname?
I do.
He's the
I have
mayor.
the mayor. So and that was not self-given either. So that's got, I don't know if that has a great story to it. The story to it's not that wonderful, but actually I think there was a few people at Manifest a number of years ago that just started running through names. And actually, Pedro, Rob, when I came on your podcast, people were starting to call me that, and then it sort of stuck. This is like 2+ years ago or whatever, or about 2 years ago. It would have been a year, February, 2 years ago, this coming February. I had come on, and it just seemed to stick after that. So, but yeah, so that's where that came from. Just it's
Can we intro
it
Pedro
is what
real
it
quick?
is.
Just skipped in twice now.
I'm just hanging out, bro. Just chilling. I'm not important, man. It's being on here. It's just like being in my marriage. Being in my marriage. I'm always last. I'm always last.
So,
you know.
I
There's a
put Dawn
reason.
in front of you, so
That's true.
apologies for that. But she is more important than you, sir.
I'm not worried about it.
What? So Rob, you're up. Who are you?
My name is. It's a name. It has letters in it, and when you put those letters together, they spell out the name. No, my name is.
It's a great name.
It's a wonderful name. My name is Robert Peterson. Mostly everybody knows me as Pedro Potato from my show, The Logistics Lounge. I'm a broker by day and a super podcaster by afternoon, and I'm just here, happy to hang out with all of you, and happy 100th, Nate. When I will say, I so thought you had a lot more shows by now. When you told us you were doing this, I was like, man, Nate's only done 100, but I forget that you only do yours once a week. And then me, I'm a person that
Right.
I count every other podcast you're on. So in my mind, you've done like 500, you know what I mean? Like 1,000 or something.
We did have for about a year, we had another little Tuesday trip that I did, and then I can't. I stopped doing that. Mostly, I would love to pick that back up, but it came down to I was spending too much time on it, and have a business to run. So to Jeff's point of view, it's a lot of work. We're actually going to be launching another podcast here soon. We just have to push it over the hill. Relaunching another podcast with a different format. We had it going.
Nate, I'll just keep traveling around and doing these huge podcasts. We'll just call it good.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine too. So, but Freight Movement's going to have another freight podcast go here. What we're intending on it to run in October. So, and then that'll be Whitney, Jenny, Bain, and myself with a few alternate hosts, and we're gonna do a little different of a format with it. So I'm committing myself to doing 2 a week, which to Jeff's point, that I'm crazy. So
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, some more media. We've got more media from back in the day. Couple bloopers. Actually, let's do the more recent blooper with Steve Vest. So let's see if I got that one. So I went almost 100 episodes with no major technical failures. And then Steve Vest and I were talking about this in the green room before the podcast, and that day was the largest technical failure. It's a live show, obviously, so that was the largest technical failure I've ever had. Like lost internet, completely toast, and we end up with this great little blooper here of Steve.
Uh-oh. What happened? Nate froze on me. Uh-oh. That's not good. Where did Nate go? Shoot. Do I hit refresh? What do I do?
So I probably wouldn't have put that out there if it was anybody other than Steve. And Steve's got, if you're not following Steve on TikTok or any other media platform, you should. He's got a ton of great stuff on brokerages. So absolutely a great guy. I need to bring him back on so we can finish our episode. We only got halfway through it. So here she is, I think. So Rod girl herself.
I had to bring the works out, my shirts.
Yeah, there we go.
You got the whole workup. You got the shirt and I mean you've taken that to a whole nother level now. You've got cartoons, you got everything.
I know. I definitely dove into it. But every time I am somewhere, I will say I'm always like, it's Nate Johnson who did this. So I do rep you as much as I can. But congratulations, 100th episode. Yay!
Absolutely. Appreciate it. So you've been on a few times before, but tell us who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I'm Danielle Spinelli, and I work for Descartes, MyCare Portal, MacroPoint type of stuff. And then I also am known as Fraud Girl, thanks to Nate, and have a superhero persona, which is funny. But I also have a podcast called Tell Me Everything, which does Fraud Girl Fridays. So we talk about kind of just tips and tricks of the industry and, meet with some industry leaders and then help you guys mitigate all the fraud that's out there because it's a big deal. That's me.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming on today. So,
yeah.
All right. So anybody have any, so this is wide open. The topics are anything anybody wants to chat about. We've got some other media. We've already been through about half of it. You missed, did you catch our intro? Did you see all the crazy costumes or did you not catch that?
No,
I thought the
I didn't
beginning
catch
intro
that.
was, I'll have to show that to you later.
Yeah.
So we've got a few other funny ones. We've got some driver things. I think I've got a clip of Evan Shelley talking about some driver items I think it was when him and Chris why am I drawing a blank? Thomas, thanks. So when Chris Thomas and Evan Shelley were riding together, so I got the clip on that, and then we got my first episode clip, which is about a 45 seconds long too. But so yeah, let's just get into it. Anybody got a topic?
Let's hit some of the big news today, Nate. I mean, Neutral announcing the acquisition by Highway.
Oh yeah, there you go. So
big ups to our friends
I mean,
Neutral and to Highway. So, and obviously part of the Triumph family. So it's very, very exciting to see all that coming together.
Right. I think big deal there. So that makes a lot of sense with the load board side of Highway. It didn't make sense without it, but definitely congratulations to Ed and team at Neutral. So big news for them there. So haven't seen Ed. I'm trying to remember when we last saw Ed too. So without everybody going to every conference everywhere right now, it's
I think it was Manifest when I saw him last.
Probably, yeah. That Dallas air is not doing Don any good.
No, it's not.
No.
Can we hear you, Don?
All right, you guys have sound.
We have
sound. We can hear you.
Yes.
We can hear you.
All right.
We
Sorry
just
about
can't
that,
see.
Guys.
That's
I'm
all right. Wow.
I'm live from the. You can't see me. I see me. All right. Well, sorry about that, guys. I'm live from the Highway User Conference right now, so I'll probably drop.
Oh, okay.
Since we're having
Dawn's in witness protection right now, since all the people,
yeah.
everybody thinks he's got Triumph money suddenly. So.
Yeah.
So that was announced at Highway then at that conference today. Then.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. It's a
Fair
really
enough.
good turnout. Yeah, it's their first user conference. Great turnout. So really happy for them.
Good. Oh, that's awesome. So, I in Dallas, obviously, good turnout. Is there a substantial number of brokers, freight tech? I mean, what's kind of the demographic?
It's really all brokers. There's only 5 sponsor vendors here. So us, Ty,
Wow.
Revenova, McLeod. So actually four sponsors.
Oh wow,
So
that's awesome.
brokers.
So
yeah, really good show.
very good. Cool.
But I know we're going to go to a commercial here shortly, Nate, but I have to pick Jeff's brain for a second. You know, Jeff, you've done a lot of things over the course of your career. And I'm not sure if you're frozen or being thoughtful right now. There you go. And really, again, you were giving back. You were doing the podcasting. You were doing a lot of stuff with conferences. And you've mentioned on social media that you were kind of getting back to your roots. You're getting back to the grind. You're growing the business. Most people, given your seasoned time in the space, wouldn't necessarily do that. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, over the years, I've been not really focusing on who I am, if that makes any sense, and how I evolved over the decades. And I started getting into things that I really shouldn't. But that's like my persona. If there's a challenge out there and I don't belong in it, I put myself in those positions that make my life sort of difficult. And that's what helped me. It's like I said over and over again, you heard me saying that being uncomfortable is the best place to be if you want to get comfortable in growing your career. It just doesn't happen by osmosis. You've got to go out there, be a sponge, absorb, and take those learnings and move it forward. And at a time in your life, give it back and help other people recognize those things. That, hey, you know what? It's okay to fail, but pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and continue to move forward. So, the bodacious cowboy and all that kind of stuff, I didn't necessarily do that for me. I just did it for others because, listen, the logistics industry is tough. It's very stressful. And I did it just like to break it up, to have some fun. People were like, who is this Dickinson guy? Who's this cowboy guy? Who's this and all of that? It was an attraction, sure. And then I got known for it. But there's a time in everybody's life, in their career, where they just have to back off. And especially when I started up the Freight Fraud Task Force, and now we've got over 400 years of experience from the people that want to be in it. And I was the co-founder and chairman of that. And now I just founded and chairing the Freight Fraud Summit. That's coming up next year. So I'm where Dawn was, and you, Bain, where you were, and Dan, doing hotels and all of that. And now I did an unprecedented thing, which is unheard of in the industry, where a freight fraud guy actually got partners, strategic partners, being the fourth largest commercial insurance company in the country at $2.8 billion, being USI Insurance Services, to join forces with me. And then I also have another partner, strategic partner, which is the Transportation Loss Prevention and Security Association, which grew out of the ATA back in 2000. So it's a trifecta when you think about, the preventative side of freight fraud and where it starts, being at the shipper side, which I worked in for almost 4 decades, 37 years of my career in that area. And we're working at a different front. I can't go into a lot, but I am taking out my partners tomorrow as a foursome to go golfing. We're discussing a lot of really, really good stuff. And now we just started the Task Force Minute, which John Cantera is running, getting a lot of followers. Members are growing, especially on the legal side, because Thomas Martin, he is a transportation attorney who is the president of the TLP and SNA. So, you get credibility that way. They want to know who I am. Who was I? Who am I? What did I do? And having that credibility, and on the insurance side too, of listening to what I had to offer and saying that's a damn good idea, and I want to be part of that, means a lot to me. So I can't do this bodacious cowboy anymore, especially when I'm going to be at events, on stage, representing a cause that I passionately believe in, as well as running my business. You can't do that. You cannot do that anymore. And it's time to get down and dirty. And I love that kind of stuff. This is a big challenge for me.
Absolutely.
It is a huge challenge for me. And I love challenges. So
absolutely. But no, it's exciting to see. And so I wanted to bring that up because I know you've been working on with the Freight Fraud Task Force, everything. And so wanted to bring that up because it is huge. Obviously, we have Danielle on who's been helping, I know, on some level. So exciting to see as we, as an industry, continue to fight the fraud that's out there. So
the only bad thing about it, I can't go to the Broker Carrier Summit. I'm too involved. I am committed for the next 6 months, working every single day on this, besides running my business. I'm in it to win it, and it's going to be here for life. Freight fraud is not going to go away, but if we do what we're thinking, it's going to minimize the risk tremendously. And hopefully brokers are going to jump on board, because we're going to be showing things that they never thought of, and implement that. And that's why we're going to have the summit and have those legal experts there, on the insurance side too, because there's such huge players in the freight fraud fighting arena. So it's going to be good. I'm excited for it.
I'm going to interject, and we're going to go to break here for a minute. So if you have any questions for anybody on this panel, feel free to queue them up. When we come back, we'll answer them. We'll be back in about a minute and a half. If your fleet's downtime looks like chaos, you're missing out on GLCS. In the fast-paced world of trucking and logistics, time is everything. Meet GLCS, your expert partner in managed IT services. We integrate seamlessly with your team, bringing seasoned IT professionals with deep transportation and logistics expertise. Imagine your software updates running smoothly, complex issues resolved quickly, and operations humming with efficiency. GLCS has your back. Our support doesn't just fix problems, it prevents them. With our industry connections and proactive approach, we keep your trucks rolling and your brokers working. Think of us as the added resource your company needs to unleash its full potential. Visit glcs.net today and keep your business driving forward. GLCS, where efficiency meets expertise. And we're back. All right. So news. So something I was going to chat about, unless somebody else has something else. Let me get my screen shared. Why I don't do this ahead of time. Rob, you're probably way better at this than I am because you do it.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. We always do it live. So, all right. So the DOT has they're going to explore hours of service, rest break, flexibility. So, a couple of things on this. So, it's kind of piloted and pushed forward by Transportation Secretary Duffy. He's definitely championing it. There's going to be a couple of key components of it. They're looking at enabling drivers to extend or pause their 14-hour driving window anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours. So that's a big deal if you think about it. So one of the largest complaints from drivers is, you go to a shipper, you have 14 hours that you can drive in a day, you get stuck there. It impacts their daily productivity. So, this allows them, depending upon where they come in at, this will allow them to extend that up to 3 hours. So the other thing that they're looking at here is to potentially, I don't know if they define it on this very well, but they will allow drivers to split their 10-hour off-duty period. I think right now that you can split a off-duty period 2 hours and 8 hours, but they are going to look at programs that will allow potentially 4 and 6 hour splits or 5 and 5 hour splits. Going back to kind of the old school format of that, which will that certainly is good for team drivers. It's good for just generally better operations, and it ultimately, well, in my opinion, it ultimately gives drivers more flexibility to operate around their schedule and how they feel, instead of, this is the hours you have to operate in, and if you don't operate in them, then you're kind of SOL. So you're going to end up having to run even though you're tired, and we've seen an uptick in accidents since ELDs have been mandated. So any thoughts on the news here?
I think that's huge. First off, I mean, there's how many times has it been where, a driver's been sitting so long at a shipper or receiver, and that's messed up kind of everything too. And he's there for 10 hours, and then he only has 1 hour to go, or, have 4 hours to go do whatever. So I think it's big to, even just on that sense, they can control their time better because they're not actively driving or on the road. A lot of times they are sleeping when they're waiting to get unloaded or loaded. So I think, the health, like taking into account their actual health and how they're feeling while they're driving. I mean, just like whenever we're driving down the road, if I'm getting tired, I'm going to pull over. So letting them finally have that same sense instead of being controlled by the government. That's my take.
Agreed. I think that, any flexibility along this makes a ton of sense. Not forcing a driver to sit in a chair for many, many hours straight. I mean, 11 hours driving with a 30-minute break that's required, that eats up that 14. I think, the break is whatever the break might be, but forcing a driver to execute a 14-hour day in an extreme structure is a great way to cause fatigue. And Jacob says they should have done this when they implemented the split breaks, and I agree. Even so, the flexibility of the split breaks and increasing the hours, I think, is absolutely huge. It allows the 5 hour getting stuck at a shipper for 5 hours and being able to call that a sleeper berth time, depending upon how you look at it, I suppose. But if you're able to call that sleeper berth time, and then that occupies half your break, it allows for more productivity. That kind of goes back to the old way of operation. So even though it's electronic,
my only issue and concern about it is current law enforcement staff that may enforce the current hours of service are not well versed on how any splits work, let alone what a new split may look like. most of them are not necessarily well versed in hours of service periods. So they look at the ELD, they either plug it in their machine or they look at it, and if it doesn't look right, they write a ticket. They honestly don't care because it's not their issue. It's going to be the driver's issue moving forward. So my concern here is this is going to further complicate enforcement of the hours of service rules, and it'll go one of two ways. Either you have the extreme enforcement, and it draws more attention to drivers who ought not have attention on them, or it leads to no enforcement, and then we've got more dangerous highways and byways because drivers know I can circumvent all this stuff. It doesn't matter.
I would venture that going back. So there are more accidents today than there have been when there was less mandates, when there was less restrictions, or when there are more restrictions today and more accidents.
Hey,
So
Nate,
I mean,
sorry, finish your
theory-
point. I was going to say if I could chime
No.
in when you're done.
yeah, absolutely. In theory, in theory that, if you weren't monitoring this and weren't forcing it, we would have less accidents because you're letting the drivers police themselves. I'm not saying that's the case, but I am saying that, if we allow drivers to drive when they're tired, or not have drivers drive when they are not tired, versus right now we're kind of forcing them to drive when they are tired. So I hear your point though, Bain. Go ahead, Rob.
So I want to bounce off Danielle and Bain, and then make my own point. Agree completely with Danielle. I didn't say this in the intro, but I drove for 10 and a half years. I'm a million miler. I've done everything from OTR, local, regional. I've done everything. And what Danielle said is really what I think the point needs to be when we come to start thinking about hours of service, is giving more control to the driver over their hours. Right. And I use these example is I think when they make these hours, they're doing this in a perfect world. Okay. A reefer driver, it is common to sit 10 hours at a shipper receiver. It just is. Yeah. It happens. Flatbedders, they usually get unloaded fairly quickly. You know what I mean? Vans, the point of that is they all have different times that it takes to load and unload, different issues that they have to go through. With the reefer, every load that you do, you should be going to getting a washout every time you deliver something. That's at least 2 hours out of your time. You know what I mean? So I say that, being able to give them more time to control stuff and control their hours is really where we need to be headed. To talk about Bain, touching what Bain said, man, I so agree with you. I think is going to be something that is unforeseen when they're making these rules. I've been out there on the road. I can't tell you, when it was paper logs, it seemed DOT knew it. I don't know what it was with that. I don't know if it's just because it was just a piece of paper and there was a graph and it was easy to understand, but I never had the issue with paper logs. ELDs, every time I had an inspection, I had to walk them through every bit of it and explain to them how it worked, what it did. And I used to love split sleeper. Like, that was my thing. I absolutely loved it. And I almost got in trouble more than one time for that because they didn't understand it. They said, oh no, you have to take the 8 hours first and then the 2. It's like, dude, I can do it either way I want. As long as it ends up being 10 at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I also want to make this point. So we had Dean Croak on our show last year. For those of you who think that Dean only deals with data analytics, you don't know Dean. This dude is amazing individual. And one of the most amazing things he's doing is he's doing sleep studies with, I believe it's Harvard, might be Yale, but it's a real big Ivy League university. He's doing sleep studies on patterns to focus towards drivers, and the stuff that they have came up with is that human beings, you sleep in 30-minute intervals, and it ends up being 90 minutes. It's 30 minutes falling asleep, it's 30 minutes of deep sleep, and then you have 30 minutes of where your body kind of comes out of it. You're still asleep, but it's not REM. And they've measured this over tons of people, years. They've got all the data. And what Dean is trying to do is trying to use this with DOT, FMCSA to say, hey, look, these guys sleep in these type of patterns. We need to start making our rules around 90-minute sleep increments and allowing them. Dean says that he thinks, and I agree with this, they should have complete control over their sleep. If they want to sleep 3 hours now and then drive for 12 hours and sleep another 7 or whatever they want to do, as long as at the end of the 24-hour period, they have rested for 10 hours, that is kind of the direction we need to go, because everyone sleeps different. Now that I'm in my 40s, I sleep 6 hours a night. That's what I do. So as a driver, I sleep 6 hours and I'm just sitting in my truck doing nothing for another 2. because you're thinking, oh, an hour shower, hour coffee, and all that
Right.
stuff. I mean, and some people, the older you get, I'm at the point now, I'm not going to lie. Hey, man, sometimes lunchtime naps, they're needed, okay? Like, you just got to lay down and take yourself a little nap. With the current system right now, there is no freedom to do that for these drivers. They are forced by a machine, ran by another machine, in some building that no one knows where it's at, that is telling them you have to do all of these things in this amount of time. It doesn't matter if you're tired, if you're sick. We don't care if you get a flat. There is nothing that can stop this, change it, or help you to complete what you're getting. So I don't know what the fix is, but me, I'm not an ELD guy. I never have been. I don't know who likes it. I don't agree with them. But I like this rule that they're making, trying to put more power back into the drivers is basically my point.
Well, I think ELDs are okay as long as they do have freedom. I think like the work-life balance, drivers definitely don't have that. And this is kind of a way that they can control their life. Those that, that everyone's kind of been pushing like drivers to get more physically fit and to eat healthier and to do things like that too. It's like, how are they even able to do that if they're only taking their breaks at night just to sleep? Like, how are they even able to do that? So this would be them kind of being able to have a work-life balance. Like, hey, I have a routine of this and my pickup's not till this time, so I'm going to go do whatever. I mean, it's a lot more than just even sleeping. Like, it's just their whole well-being of a person. Like, at the end of the day, these are people we're talking about. And I think also us pushing the English proficiency stuff, if we're wanting a lot more American drivers, they're very accustomed to this like lifestyle of like, being able to kind of do whatever they want to, whenever they want to do with most of the jobs out there. So especially with like remote jobs. So I think this is just going to encourage more people to come into the driver's market because it's going to be a little bit more, I don't know, appealing because you're able to have control of your own life finally.
I agree.
So
We'll finally take care of that driver shortage, Danielle.
Maybe.
I think it's funny because we're actually going backwards again to go forwards. But I'm gonna play a clip here. I don't even know what's on this clip other than that it's a ride along by Evan Shelley with Chris Thomas, and we'll see what Evan has to say and potentially Chris, what they have to say about it. This is a couple of years ago, just after Manifest, when they left and took off together, leaving Vegas. So circling back on your trip with Chris, what were kind of your major takeaways from that 8-day trip?
One night we genuinely got to a point where like, ooh, I don't know if we're gonna find any, safe, suitable, parking for us. He was looking around. He didn't say what he was doing, but I could see him looking like behind restaurants and stuff. And he found just like this little honey hole with a couple other trucks parked there. That wasn't a formal truck parking location, but it didn't say no truck parking or anything. And it, felt relatively safe. And he goes, if there isn't parking right back there behind that restaurant over there, we're going to be in a weird spot. Because he's like, everything is full. And I was like, yikes.
So I remember him saying, "Hey, I'm not going to have hours." So I remember some conversation on that. So looks like we lost Danielle too. So, but yeah, I remember him saying he was going to run out of hours during that too. So, but
That
Good
was an
clip of
amazing trip, by the way, Nate. That thing that Indy and Evan did, like, bro, that was and it was, I think it was last year, maybe I think it was 2023 is when it was, I believe.
2024 because it was.
Yeah. And they were together for like 2 weeks is what it was. But it was so awesome watching their journey and and Evan, like being out there with Chris and learning stuff, seeing things from first-hand perspective. And that video you just rolled is something that I bet drivers go through probably 5 out of 7 days a week. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
And when I drove, I never dealt with that. Outside of the bad areas, like, you'd have problem parking in Atlanta and Jersey and New York, Chicago maybe, but you typically wouldn't have problems everywhere else. So you just don't have those problems everywhere. So you not back then. And then if you did, you were working off of paper. So you're moving around truck stops. You parked a half an hour ago, so it didn't matter. Now you don't have that opportunity. So,
and something that article didn't cover, maybe you didn't point it out, is along with these rules they're making, they're also talking about doing away with PC, personal conveyance, because there have been so many people abusing it, which I think they knew that would happen. But it's kind of a give with one hand and take with another, right? With this, you could get more control over your hours, but you could also lose something that has been a savior to a lot of drivers. I use PC, I don't know how many times, rolling down the highway. The next truck stop is 30 miles down the road, and I've got 6 minutes left on my clock. So, that's it's a weird thing. Like I said, give with one, take with the other. And I'm interested to see what the final ruling is on all this, how they're going to do the split. Are they going to keep the PC? And if they do, are they just going to limit it? I don't know what the current rule is. Someone could tell me, but what is it? How long can you use PC now?
You just can't advance the load. Other than that, I don't know. So,
okay, all right. I
30 minutes is the rule of thumb.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like 30 or 45 minutes or whatever that you had.
Then you've also got your big day, right? The 16 hours of on duty. You've got that as a backup as well, which, to be fair, a lot of people use that as a regular part of their day.
So I'm going to move this along because I have 2 more clips that I need to do, and then we're going to have to wrap this one up. So we had another blooper happen. We probably got a few bloopers. We got a few bloopers, but there was 2 in the one we did earlier. But this is probably my favorite one, and it happened at Matt's this year. And whenever you put a soundboard in front of Bain, he just starts whacking a mole at it.
I remember this one.
Yeah, this was good because all of a sudden everyone just busted out laughing, and Todd Waldron was with us at the time.
He was. Oh, God, this is so good.
Just loses it at the soundboard, and Trey's like, "What's going on? I don't get it. You can't hear what's going on."
Some solid memories this year.
But this is what happened.
It's so true.
And we've got Trey here.
Now we have Trey.
Now we can get started. Yep. What's with my voice? I think I had a lot of helium. It was really great. It was right before I got on. I took a bunch of helium balloons. I didn't think it would actually work, but it worked. I want to hear what that's like on the replay.
What is happening right now?
Yeah, what button did you push?
None of them.
I thought he was being pranked. I thought Nate did it on purpose. By the look on his face, he's got.
I don't mind rolling with it. I just totally went with it.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Oh my God, I'm dying laughing. That is so funny.
That was hilarious. So,
and I even kept my shirt on. Look at that.
That's how we know Bain is a child at heart, for sure. He has not matured past 12.
I am Peter Pan forever. Let me be very clear.
Yeah.
we couldn't figure it out forever, and then eventually we were like, "Oh, well, here we go." I even moved my mic over in front of Trey, and he wouldn't even. He just kept talking on his own. So that was one of my favorite whoopsies of all time. And what we ended up finding out was that earlier in the podcast, Bain had just kind of started mashing buttons, and he hit a voice thing on the Roadcaster that only affected mic 1, which is what Trey was on. So we had never.
You're welcome, America.
So yeah,
that was great.
Laws of unintended consequences. There we go. So, that's a good one. And now we can use it if we want to. So we just got to remember when we're going to do it. So boom. So
yeah, I think anytime Trey comes out, just here he comes.
Yeah,
coming on stage.
he's the 4th chipmunk.
Everybody doesn't even know what his little voice sounds like anymore. We just keep doing that. That's so funny.
Just keep him there. So the final one, this isn't a blooper, but this is actually my first episode opening clip. And, I've probably only watched this. The first time I saw it was just a minute ago. Well, not the first time. That's probably like the 3rd time I saw the opening clip. So I cringe at it every time I see it because the energy level is so different. I edited the heck out of it back in the day. And this actually was recorded in probably April or May of 2023. And I don't think we aired it until September. And I worked on it. This is when it was decided we're going to start doing Driving Forward. And then I think Sheree, who was on earlier, helped us come live on a weekly podcast. So anyway, here's the first episode of Driving Forward, which was really just me talking about my background. Good day, and welcome to the first episode of Driving Forward. We're going to see how this goes. I'm sure I'm going to make a ton of mistakes and learn as I go here. So the first episode is going to be a solo episode with just me. I've talked to a bunch of people, and we thought that I had a somewhat unique story on how I got into transportation and how I've grown my career. So we thought exploring that over a few minutes and kind of putting it out there for discussion was a good place to start. So I appreciate your interest in the program. So, like I said, little different energy than what we do today. So, so I think we'll wrap this one up. Anybody have any words of wisdom? Jeff, if you have words of wisdom, you need to keep them short. But anybody have any words of wisdom?
Well, I was going to ask you, Nate, do you feel like, just starting off my podcast myself, and I can only imagine going 100, episodes deep. Do you feel like you've learned so much along the way? And, I know you've learned so much along the way. I guess what's your the biggest things you feel like you've learned over 100 episodes?
Yeah. Don't worry about making mistakes. So try things new. There's so many things that you end up learning when you do this, and that's I think why we continue to do it. And it's eventually when you start a podcast, you decide, do you want to continue doing this or not, and then you sort of let the podcast determine its own path. You can try to force it in some cases, and some people are able to do that. And in the case of Driving Forward, it really found its own path, and we allowed it to do that. It's if you look at our episodes and what we if you look at what we did, I like Bain's comment here. He learned he can go a whole hour without swearing, and he's done that many times. So and I'm so proud of you, sir. I'm so proud of you. You've done that. So actually, you do that all the time now. It's so different than when I first met you.
Only on this stuff. Let's be very, very clear.
I know. So it's like we have to give you a pill before you start. So just to calm you down. So, I think there's so many things that we've learned, and there's so many different subject matters that we've realized. And the biggest thing of it is, if you mess up, if you screw up, nobody really cares. Be respectful to people. And as long as you're not screwing up in the fact of disrespect, then it really doesn't matter. People are very accepting of anything along those lines. So, don't be afraid. So be fearless, get out there, challenge yourself and try it. It's been a good platform to learn from that angle. And we continue to just go at it on a weekly basis. We've got a good support team behind the scenes. We have Missy and Natalia, who are here every week, and Natalia is coming up on a year with us. Missy's been here since the get-go. So and we've had a few other people come and go in support as well, but that's been a great team to help along the way.
I love it. You guys are killing it.
So Nate, are you going for another 100 after this?
We're not going to stop until we decide we're going to stop. So that I don't think, we've talked about doing more episodes, but there is a business to run on top of it. And this is not really, we run this on GLCS channels, but there's even been talk about moving it off of GLCS channels and having it be its own thing. We're not going to do that right now. So, we're going to continue doing what we do and enjoying what we do. And We'll probably try to go and reach further. So I'd say we challenge ourselves on that every week. So we'll see where that goes. So I don't foresee us stopping anytime soon, and who knows what we'll end up doing.
Nate's definitely the guy can't stop, won't stop, for sure.
you know me.
Yeah.
You know me. So
Well, congrats again. This is so awesome, and
congrats.
Here's to 100 more.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you all coming on and spending the hour with us. That's been great. Hillary, thanks for coming on for the first time, and once again, thanks for promoting freight movement as well, and continuing with that message and taking it to Minnesota. Looking forward to spending that evening with you guys here in the next couple weeks. So we did put that out on the comments. So. And we'll start promoting that more and more here as well. So that's going to be a great thing. Jeff, it's great seeing you. It's been a long time since we've seen each other or chatted, for that matter. So you are a busy man, sir.
Yes, I am. Thanks. Appreciate it. Last thing I got to say is take a big risk. Hesitation kills deals.
Yes.
Words of wisdom.
Very much so.
If you're not scared, you're not trying hard enough.
Amen to that.
I say that all the time. If you're not a little nervous, you're not doing you're not in the arena you should be. So,
well, I also have some parting words of wisdom. Step 1, steal underpants. Step 2, step 3, profit.
All right. What do we got from the potato? Everybody else has put something out there.
I got nothing except for, just to reverberate the congratulations again, man. I am someone that does it, dude. I get how hard it is. I know how it is. Some days you get like 10 minutes from the show and you're like, man, I really got something else I could do, or the guest cancels, or you got tech problems, or trying to find guests and all the production. So it is a feat. So congratulations, Nate. And, I'm glad to just be in your circle. I'm glad to be friends with everyone here on screen. Hillary, we'll soon be friends. But yes, yeah. And that's it, man. I'm glad everyone has a space to come and talk and get info out and do all the things that you and your team do, Nate. So thank you for letting me come hang out with you, man.
Awesome. Appreciate everybody. We'll take everybody down and wrap this one up here. So. It was special when I hit record on episode 1. It was about finding my voice, and 100 episodes later, it's now about amplifying yours, the trucker's voice, the voice of businesses that keep this country moving when nobody's watching. To our guests today, to Bain, to Jeff, to Christy, Jenny, Rob, Danielle, Hillary, thanks for the honesty. Thanks for the playbooks and the laughs. To every driver, to every dispatcher, to every broker, founder, tech team that tunes in, you gave this mic its purpose. So here's my promise for the next 100 more. There'll be more truth. There's more tools you can use on Monday morning. More stories that remind us why this work matters. But to help me out a little bit, send me your ideas, your wins, your scars. Tell me what's on your mind and why we should spotlight what's next. If this episode helped you, share it with one person in freight who needs it. I'm so grateful for this community and for the chance to keep learning out loud with you. So until next time, keep your wheels turning. Take care of your people and keep driving forward. So I'm Nate Johnson. This is episode 100. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Until next time, drive forward with purpose and innovation. Thanks for watching.